Welcome to the Artcast episode 2. It is me, Theo. Before we get into this episode, I want to say thank you to those of you who went to my Patreon, because if it wasn't for you guys who supported me there, we would not have hit this goal. I am really excited to start working on these Artcast episodes each month now, because I thought that the pilot was okay. I thought the pilot had a good idea behind it, but now I get to actually really push myself with these Artcasts. So for this episode, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try recording it, see how that works. And if that doesn't work, I'll try again. But I think recording for now is the way to go, because I have multiple segments for this podcast or for the show. And I think doing it through an edited means is much better than doing it live. It allows it to be a little bit more seamless. So I'm glad I get to try stuff out, see what works, see what doesn't work. It's a live and learn process, but I want to thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit this goal. It means a lot to me. It really does. So, with each Artcast, I'd like to go through my art book collection and kind of talk about what I have and really explain what makes these art books special or unique, or just kind of go through something about them. And for this episode, I want to go through a book that has a very sentimental value to me. This one I would probably miss a lot, to the point where I'd probably cry if I lost it. If this book were to vanish, I'd probably cry about it, because this is one of the first, if it's either one of the first or it was the first art book I've ever owned. It is the Batman the Animated Series art book. This book came out around the time when I was just a kid, and I was watching the Batman the Animated Series religiously. I loved the show. So when I saw this book, I ran to my dad and I begged him, "Dad, please, can you buy this for me? I really love the show. I love Batman. I really want this book." And he was also, coincidentally, a Batman fan, so he was also interested in getting the book as well. So he bought me this book for me, and this book really means a lot to me. But the one thing, I was going through it recently to kind of see if there's anything I missed, and the one thing I took for granted when I was a kid was the people who worked on the show actually commented in this book. They have writers, animators like Bruce Timm, who was a producer. They had Paul Dini have some pages in this book as well. But the artwork that you get to see in this book is incredible. They have a little fold out here that has all of the title cards from seasons 1 through 3. They didn't do title cards for season 4 when they went to Warner Brothers. It used to be on Fox Kids. And then they moved to Warner Brothers, and when they did that, they changed the show style completely. But I really loved the title cards. It really expressed the episode and what to expect. When you saw the title card, you knew either who the villain was, what tone it was, just a lot of information, and it was very exciting to see, what do these title cards mean in terms of the episode. One of my favorite title cards here, I mean, I have a few, but the one that I'm looking through this now, I love the What is Reality title card. I like the His Silicon Soul title card, and I like the Dreams in Darkness. Those are my 3 off the bat title cards I really love, because they just have this nice look to them. But all of them are good. I can't really say that there's a stinker in this fold out, but these are all really interesting title cards. So I love that about this book, that has all the title cards. You get to go through all of the commentary from the people who actually worked on this on the show. They also show you the storyboards of each episode, or at least the ones that they picked, and the storyboard for the opening sequence with a very lengthy explanation about some of the stuff. So when I was going through this as a kid, I was just looking at the images. I didn't really go through all of the words, and I still have yet to go through it because I've just been going through other art books and just other stuff that's been going on. But the one I liked was there's a poster somewhere in this book. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but they have, it's pretty much this little like image, and they ask you, oh, can you count how many things in this image would be censored by standards and practices of television? And I think it was like 18 or 13. It was more than 10 that would have been censored, and it was pretty interesting to read that. Goes through even the music. I mean, this is a book about the show, and I was expecting it to be mostly on the art side of it, the animation, storyboards, etc. But it has the voice cast talking about it, the music that went into it. I mean, this book really went into a lot of detail about this show. And they have these great landscapes that they show. You know, obviously, if you're a fan of Batman, you know, I would definitely recommend this book. But this is such a cherished book of mine. I just love looking at the style. They even go through the toy line that they did for it and the redesigns. When they did the redesigns of the entire show, they showed, you know, the process of it, like why they decided to go with a more simplistic look, and all that came from it. They even expressed disappointment with the Joker. They were like, oh, I can't believe you forgot to give him the iconic lipstick when they changed this style completely. But it's fun to go through the storyboards of some of these episodes. Like, it has a lot of expression, and to me, I love these storyboards a little bit more than the actual animation of the show. The animation of the show is good, and I love the style of it, but when you look at the storyboards, it's just black and white, and it just looks very, very expressive. You know, I'm looking through this particular panel of the Joker, and he's like at a podium, and he's like going through each speech, and I just love how you get to go through each emotion that he's going through during his speech, and it's so expressive, and it shows a lot of energy. You know, you see a lot of shows either designed with just storyboards or with a script first. It's either one or the other, and this really shows a good marriage of the script and of the animation. So I really like that about this book. This book is a very, very handy tool for me, because there was a time back when I was in college, and I was dabbling with the idea of making my own animated series, which was it never really went anywhere. But one of the styles I really wanted to pull from was the Batman animated series. I loved the shapes that they used and the style of it, and I really wanted to kind of have a similar style to that. So I was so I'd go to this book, I would look at, oh, how do they draw Commissioner Gordon? Oh, they drew this little blocky little head, and they gave him like a nice little sharp mustache, and you know, all of that was really, really handy, because this kind of also dictates a time period as well. Like, it kind of has the styles of the 60s, and maybe even the 20s, if you really look at it, but I would mostly go with 60s. Kind of this nice little style with it that is timeless to me. I don't think it's a style that's ever going to be outdated. I don't think, like, you could probably show this to a kid in 10 years from now, and they'd probably be impressed with the animation as it is, because it's all done by hand, and it's all done carefully. I mean, of course, I'm pretty sure they outsource the in-betweens with the animation, but it's still, like, incredible how detailed each of the characters are, especially in the storyboards. It's just a lot of effort, and I really, really appreciated this art book. It has a good style to it, has a good organization with it. I really like this art book. So I think from here, I want to show you guys some of the artwork that I've been working on. So stay tuned. This is a work in progress for one of my commissions I'm doing for a patron. This patron asked me to draw him a character from Let It Die. I don't know his name, but he's from the group The Jackals. I saw them in a cutscene, never really got a chance to fight them, and I really love their design. So when he asked me to do this commission, and he also requested that I put him in a flexing position, so I tried to kind of give him a cool flexing position that matched his personality that I could kind of get off of that
design. Like, I think it's a very professional kind of killer, that kind of stuff. So I kind of gave him that pose, in my opinion. When he first asked me to do this, I kind of groaned. I was like, look at these details. I have to do all these details in the helmet, the hands. I mean, this is going to be a pain. But with each detail and with each challenge that I get from my lovely patrons or anyone that reaches out to me to get a commission, I get a little excited because, when I do my own artwork, it's very easy for me to fall back on my own little laurels. Oh, I do great heads. I'm just going to do portraits forever. I'm not going to do body portraits. I'm not going to do full figure drawings. I'm not going to do anything too detailed. I mean, I did eventually try to push myself to do more detailed characters, but not really to the level of this character from Let It Die. And I'm really excited that I got to push myself. I had other patrons and other people in the past that really did push me to do very detailed commissions, but I don't. Between each commission, there's kind of like a resting period where I get to draw my own characters and stuff, and it's always fun to kind of see what challenge I get to face. And this was kind of fun. I really had a fun time working on this character. It's hard, but it's fun. I think the challenge in of itself is a lot of fun to kind of get through and really see what I can do to push myself. It's very rewarding. Doing art on its own, on your own, and not really pushing yourself can be fun, it can be relaxing, but you don't get that satisfaction of, I did all of this stuff that I never get to do every day, and this commission is a lot of fun. It's a pain to get the proportions right. There's a lot of issues I see in this line work. It's still a work in progress, but a part of me is still in awe that, it's still for what it is so far. It is a huge improvement for where I was yesterday and the day before that, and each passing day I'm getting more and more better with art, and I think these challenges, these commissions, really push me to do more. And honestly, these commissions also fuel me creatively, so I love doing them. I love that I get to see what people want to see me draw. I get to really push myself and get a lot out of it. So it's a lot of fun, and there is a pressure to commissions because, you are kind of getting paid to do something, and it's always a stressful thing for me, but at the same time, when I get to work on it, I do put my best foot in. I always try my best to give you what you ask, and, and so far, I am just so relieved that, I got to work on such great commissions, such great pieces, and I love each one. Every one that I've worked on so far, I really get to enjoy working on, because they really allow me to really force myself to get better. Otherwise, I wouldn't be trying, I wouldn't be getting better. I would be getting better at a slower rate than I would doing these commissions. And doing this character alone really fueled me to do other characters. I already have thoughts rushing through my mind of characters that I want to draw now. And that's really the best part about doing these commissions and doing this character. I was really excited to get started with this character from Let It Die. I really love the design work from that game and from Suda51's multiple games as well. But these were just one of my favorite character designs that he showed that I just really was excited to get my hands on. So that's really all I have to say about this drawing. In this episode of the Artcast, one of the things I want to talk about is really how I go about starting a sketch or starting to do something art related. Usually I try to look at references, I look at art books, but one of the things that I recommend everyone do if you're opening up a sketchbook or a art program on your computer, tablet, whatever, I always recommend to do quick sketches. If you don't, this is what's going to happen if you don't do quick sketches to get yourself loosened up. This is what's going to happen. So, right now, I'm not really locked in. I'm drawing with my wrist. Some of it is a little, I'm trying to make it look bad, I guess, but you get the general gist. Like, you're never gonna really open up your arm. You're just gonna be stuck in this fixed little place where you make these tiny little mistakes. Like, let's do this. We're gonna make another sketch, and I'm not loose. I am still a little tight with my arm, and it's not really feeling good. To be honest, I'm doing this. It's just I'm not really energetic about it. I'm not really, and I'm kind of aimlessly drawing stuff either. Because I find myself when I do these quick sketches, excuse me, I always tend to get quick little ideas about a sketch I want to do. So I'm just kind of winging it with this. And as I'm tight, I'm making all kinds of mistakes. It's taking me a very long time just to get a general form going. And it doesn't work. It's not working for me. It looks okay. Like, this does look like a head, but the nose, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the pace I want to go to. With drawing, with sketching, with whatever, yeah, you want to go, slow sometimes, but you really want to get started very quickly. You want to get stuff on and just flowing. The more time you spend on nonsense detail, the less time you have to actually really focusing on what really matters. So let's get rid of these. Let's annihilate them. And let's start doing quick sketches. So when I think of quick sketches, I'm thinking of either characters I think of, and I usually try not to go for references for this. So I'm going all off of memory. So let's do Laura. I'm going to draw a nice little Laura quick sketch. Now, I'm not going for perfection. Now, of course, someone might say, well, you're not going for perfection, so isn't that what happened in the first place? But the other one, I was kind of trying, and it just really wasn't working. So here, I'm just going to try to do something very quickly and see what I can do. I'm going to try to do these little weird poses as well that, may not make sense, but I always think the best time to try out positions and poses is during the warm-up sketches. And if you like a pose, then you may want to refine it in your actual sketch. But this is just me trying to do something while doing a warm-up sketch. So I'm gonna make her kind of do this little smirk, and I try not to do an actual eye shape very well. I just try to do these little quick little eyes because I think they're kind of fun to sketch as well. Now, this is just a little quick sketch. I'm going to add her little dreads here that she has on one side of her face, which I think is kind of silly design. I'm not really too crazy about that design, but she should be smiling. I don't know why I made her serious. And then going to add a little bit more definition to her arms. Going to give her some fun things. Now, I kind of like her default costume a little bit. Like, I like her little gi or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm not a martial artist. Don't look at me. So, I'm drawing this. And now I'm thinking I should draw something else. I should draw something else more off the walls or something, right? Well, I'm going to draw Karen because I'm thinking of Street Fighter now. Gonna put her right there. And she's going to be a little bit intrigued. Gonna draw her eyes. Of course, they're not perfect, but this isn't about perfection. We're not doing this for perfection. We're just doing this to get our arms moving, and so we're not kind of like tight on the canvas. So that's one technique. The other thing I'm recently experimenting with is to not lift up the stylus as much. I'm trying to keep it down as much as I can. So let's do a quick sketch without lifting the stylus. Oh, I lifted up 2 times so far. Whoops. But it's okay to take it off sometimes. 3 times. Whoops. But I'm going to try to keep it down. I'm going to just draw just a random person or character or something. Gonna give her a nice little bangs. It's 4 times. Gonna give her eye patch. So that's kind of a quick sketch without lifting. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of looking at this now is that it's obviously abstract, but the one thing that I can definitely tell you is that it does have at least some light balance. Like here's a dark area right here. Let's shade that in, and we can kind of refine that a little bit. And then here, there's another face. This side of the face, gonna shade here because this is where the darkness is apparently. I gave her an eye patch, so let's refine the eye patch. Sometimes I like going to my warm-up sketches and refining them because it's kind of funny. You might find a character that you kind of create unintentionally that you might actually like. One of the characters I did draw a lot of, the girl with the mask and the sunglasses, and I guess it's a frohawk that I gave her. She was a product of a quick sketch. I kind of sketched her quickly, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool character. I really like that character. I like how she looks. And it was just kind of went back and kept adding more and more stuff to her and trying to make it a little more refined. So I'm kind of liking this character as well. She has a nice, no-nonsense kind of look to her. She just looks like she's just ready to fight. Like, she looks like a hidden character in Street Fighter. And there's her just weird hair. But I like the design. It's very interesting. But you see this and you're like, wow, this is a very odd sketch, but the sketch is a lot of fun to do sometimes. You get a lot of fun sketches when you do these quick sketches. And I never feel bad that I take a lot of time to do these. And I always regret not starting a stream all the time with warm-up sketches like this. Because warm-up sketches are a lot of fun to do sometimes, and that really does drive a lot of motivation to constantly do art. So I really enjoy the process of doing this. So, well, that is it for this episode of the Artcast. If you want to submit any artwork you want me to go over in any future installments, feel free to either send them my way through Twitter, Discord, or my email. I'll have all that information on my Patreon, and I also have that information on my description right below this video. Again, thank you guys for watching, and again, thank you all who supported me, be it however you guys decide to do it. Everything is great. Love you all. See you in the next episode.